If you can understand that the mass incarceration of Black Americans is a systemic issue, you can understand that the mass incarceration of Palestinians by Israel is a systemic issue. Since the ceasefire and Israel's and Hamas's hostage exchange, the Hosbarists have come out of the woodwork to say that the Israelis are hostages, but the Palestinians are prisoners. They constantly point out that around 200 of the Palestinians released have convictions from Israel's military court, but fail to point out that around 1,700 of those released have been held for months and years with zero conviction. These 1,700 Palestinians have been held in what is called administrative detention, which is basically when the Israeli army kidnaps somebody and holds them indefinitely with no charge. In other words, a hostage. Over 3,000 out of the almost 12,000 Palestinians being held by Israel are in administrative detention. And when the Israeli military courts do actually put somebody on trial, they have a 99% conviction rate. So the vast majority of the Palestinians released in this deal, just like a giant chunk of Palestinians being held by Israel in general, have not been charged for any crime. Even those who were convicted and who you may or may not reasonably think committed acts of violence had no fair due process. None of us would view this court system legitimate in an American context, or really anywhere else in the world for that matter. If you can understand that the mass incarceration of Black Americans is a systemic issue, you can understand that the mass incarceration of Palestinians by Israel is a systemic issue.